Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 446 based on novel. So let's start. In the altar barrier, the battle between Xiao Yi and Princess Alice has reached a white-hot stage, but the cyan brilliance brewed by the two attacks is like a demon, ravaging this barrier aimlessly. All angry. The sickly grey colour filled most of the enchantment, and even some forest trees at the bottom instantly became dry from their green appearance, as if all their vitality was instantly drained by the cyan light, distorted and extremely ugly. Boom. At the same time, when the energy attacks of the two in the enchantment reached the limit, the entire enchantment first shrank violently, and then suddenly exploded. Press into powder. Two terrifying guys. But there is a trace of blood in the enchantment. Judging from this appearance, there should be a difference between the winner and the loser. Some elven powerhouses frowned, feeling the extremely depressing atmosphere in the enchantment, and slowly opened their mouths. Several ferocious energy ripples spread out, and the entire barrier seemed to be torn apart. The meaning of distortion was extremely obvious. After about a few minutes, the figures of the two slowly appeared from the energy center. A tie. Princess Qianqin nodded, but she was the first to speak. Her beautiful eyes seemed to have some kind of terrifying power to penetrate the void, she said in surprise. Oh! Listening to Princess Qianqin's words, Xiao Yang and second elder Ma Lin were full of surprise, and immediately hesitantly said, now that the aftermath of the battle in the enchantment space has not subsided, how can this Princess Qianqin be able to clearly see the two figures? A tie. Afterwards, many strong men narrowed their eyes and looked towards the altar barrier. At this time, in the altar barrier, countless energy ripples were extremely dim, and two figures appeared in everyone's sight. There was a rare solemnity in Alice's lazy face, and the azure brilliance was grasped on the palm of her hand. The terrifying power that was enough to destroy all things made her delicate face extremely cold, and there was actually a touch in her eyes. Very incredible look. With his dignified first-level reincarnation level strength, he would be so embarrassed by a mere 8-star Dozian perfect powerhouse like Xiao Yi. Even after he used the supreme cultivation technique among the fire spirits, after the fire spirit scriptures, he was still unable to kill Xiao Yi completely. On the other hand, Xiao Yi's body was covered in scars, every drop of purple blood spilled out, and the whole body was in a state of embarrassment. Little Yi Gongzi really hides it, but he just doesn't know how many times he can take this level of attack. Alice was calm on the surface, but she roared in a low voice in her heart, and resentment lingered in her heart. At this time, she could not wait to smash Xiao Yi's body into 10,000 pieces, so as to collect the reincarnation mark on Xiao Yi. One reincarnation stage. A rare aura emerged from the depths of Xiao Yi's eyes, her fists clenched unconsciously, and she glared at him. Alice's strength is too tyrannical. If it wasn't for the amplification of the purple flame in the seal of reincarnation, I'm afraid she would not be her opponent at all. As for her own reincarnation seal and purple flame, the only thing Xiao Yi knows is that it is related to the so-called head of the elves, the goddess Yaoji, and the power of the holy flame embryo. In order to prevent exposure, Xiao Yi will not rashly step into the reincarnation use. Among the fire elves, only I can become the real king. Ads by Pub Future. Pub Future ads. So, after Alice looked around, she raised her palm, and a very soft cyan energy waved out. Under everyone's attention, the cyan energy quietly turned into a bright green butterfly, dancing in her palm, looking weak. Above the unbearable azure butterfly, the fluctuations emanating are astonishing. It seems that even the soul will tremble violently. The cyan butterflies danced gracefully, and traces of cyan glow spread out like raindrops, giving countless people an inexplicable air of purification. The butterfly flickered on Princess Alice's palm, and the cyan energy gathered from her palm. It turned out that countless sacred runes were formed on the butterfly's body, and a mysterious spread out. The power of the origin of the elves. Countless strong people watched Alice's offensive, and the shock in their hearts was indescribable. The reason why the elves can be the leaders in the world is precisely because of the word elves. A being like Alice is a noble being among spirits, so it is a natural spirit who can master nature. The shapes are like fire spirits, wood spirits, etc., and the shapes of these nature spirits are not the same. For example, the butterfly in Alice's hand is one of the wood spirits. By chance, the wood attribute is subdued. The natural elves were immediately refined into their own source power. The power of the source of elves is no less than the human heart, and it is the most important thing for elves. However, this method is only controlled by a very small number of elves in their respective races. Many elves are still strong in human appearances, with their hearts as their mainstay. This is also the best proof that they can distinguish the royal family of elves from ordinary elves. The difference between the two is whether there is a natural elves, and whether refining has the origin of elves. Pub Future adds. Similar to the 3 electors in the Fire Elves family, as well as the elders and patriarchs in the Fire Elves family, they are elves themselves, and they can control and subdue elves. The strength is outrageous. Alice raised her palm, and the cyan butterfly had endless cyan energy emerging, and strange and obscure patterns were formed in the surging energy. How could I possibly lose? Xiao Yi's eyes were scarlet, and while the reincarnation seal was waving, purple flames penetrated into the latter's body, and on the skin's meridians, purple veins appeared, fists were clenched tightly, and countless purple flames were like wild beasts in a violent state, resisting Alice's devastating blow. The powers of the purple fire fist and the butterfly elf are quite the same, and it is difficult to distinguish them with the naked eye, but with the sharp eyes of Princess Qianqin, the second elder Ma Lin and others, they can smell that the attacking power of the two is clearly not on the same level. Boom! The two attacks collided with each other, and the sound of muffled thunder continued to reverberate in this world. Even in the extremely stable sacred altar barrier the void buzzed, and faint cracks emerged. Resist me. Xiao Yi felt the terrifying aura in the butterfly elf. The reincarnation seal was pushed to the extreme, blue veins burst out all over her body, and her eyes were full of endless bloodshot. Although this kind of attack is tyrannical, it cannot be sustained for a long time. In the blink of an eye, the purple fire fist was torn apart piece by piece by the butterfly elf. Under the invasion of the latter's ancient fluctuations, the purple flame on Xiao Yi's body quickly subsided, even between the eyebrows. The reincarnation seal at the place began to dim. Obviously, this level of battle was too heavy for Xiao Yi. The original stalemate was completely smashed by the butterfly elf summoned by Princess Alice, and the cyan energy was like a deadly radiance of stars, savagely impacting Xiao Yi's body. Purple blood flowed down under everyone's attention, and Xiao Yi's face became even more ugly. Suffer to death. Seeing this scene, Alice nodded and smiled. Immediately, the butterfly elf danced, with a touch of ancient and mysterious fluctuations. It shredded the void directly, and blasted away at Xiao Yi. Haha, Princess Alice of the Fire Elf clan really has extraordinary strength. Just when Alice thought the victory was in her hands, a hearty laughter, accompanied by a deep and vast blue halo, rose into the sky. The cyan fist and the butterfly elf energy clashed, a huge energy visible to the naked eye suddenly exploded, the void of the entire altar barrier shook suddenly, and even other energies in the space were smashed away by it. Such a terrifying power turned out to make the edge barrier protecting the altar of the elf tremble. Who sabotaged the good deeds of this princess? Alice's beautiful eyes contained extremely fierce suffocating aura, and she roared, her eyes fixed on Xiao Yi's position. This attack from yourself can clearly kill Xiao Yi. Why is there an ancient and heavy aura that is as heavy as a mountain to resist his attack? Second brother. Xiao Yi's face was extremely gloomy. On her slender body, droplets of purple and demonic blood spilled out. She looked quite scary, but at this time, there was no fear in her pupils. Instead, there was a rare madness in her eyes. There is no need to use that kind of thing. The after-effects are too great. And as my elder brother, I won't let you act like this. Xiao Yang retracted his fist full of blue halo and looked at Xiao Yi with awe, as if he was teaching the latter. However, everyone's eyes narrowed and they stared at Xiao Yang in disbelief. Just now, Princess Alice gave an angry blow, strong enough to make the real reincarnation feel difficult, but was actually caught by Xiao Yanqing's fist. This shocking scene gave them an extremely illusory illusion. This Xiao Yang is not easy. The flash of power just above the fist seems familiar. Does it have something to do with that, Lord? Qianqin's beautiful eyes looked at Xiao Yang, who was standing in front of Xiao Yi in the distance, and there was a hint of hesitation in her eyes. Xiao Yang is not a simple human being. Not only does he possess holy flame, but he also possesses some kind of cyan-colored strange energy, which makes Qianqin have to pay attention to it. But when Xiao Yi heard this, she couldn't help clenching her teeth, looking at Princess Alice with fierce eyes on the side. The worry in her eyes was particularly strong. Many rumors about Princess Alice have long been a household name among the fire elves. Now that they are fighting each other, Xiao Yi just knows that this guy's strength is extraordinary, and even Xiao Yi feels that Alice is not using her full strength. Let me do it. After all, as your elder brother, you have to show some arrogance, otherwise how can you shock Xu Xiong? Xiao Yang swayed casually, and immediately stretched out under the gaze of countless people, as if he was just telling an inconspicuous thing. Well, be careful. Seeing the firm look in Xiao Yang's eyes, Xiao Yi could only nod helplessly, and then, without saying much, left the altar barrier and swept towards the center. The little beast who ruined my good things. When Alice saw this, her eyes were scarlet, and she still looked like a noble princess. That kind of hatred gesture with claws roared like a wild beast, and there was no politeness in her tone. Second Elder, it seems inappropriate for Xiao Yang's move in the south. This human being first provoked the authority of our fire elves, and now he has disrupted the rules we made. I suggest that he be arrested and killed. Seeing Xiao Yang and Xiao Yi being so arrogant, Difference, the chief of the Western tribe, couldn't help raising his head and said to the second elder Ma Lin, who was in charge of the overall situation. In the second battle between Princess Alice and Xiao Yi, the outcome was undecided. Xiao Yang ran out to disrupt the situation, which made them all hate Xiao Yang very much. When Ma Lin heard the words, her body trembled slightly, but she didn't say much. If Xiao Yang was just a nameless generation, he would kill him if he killed him, but Xiao Yang is Xiao Yi's second brother. Whether it is Xiao Yi or Xiao Yang, the holy flame in the body is very necessary for today's fire elves. Without such a thing, I am afraid that the evil diseases in the fire elves family will be difficult to cure. This is also one of the reasons why the patriarch of the fire elf clan did not come forward to preside over it. The fire elves were indeed eroded by something, as Xiao Yang had guessed. The three major electoral contests held today are naturally to select people with extraordinary talents and enter the holy land of the clan to solve those problems. Ha ha. The election of the three major tribes was made clear before the competition started. There are 3 people in each tribe. The one who supports them until the last one wins. The reason why I took action was because I was eager to protect my brother. After all, Princess Alice is a dignified reincarnation rank. It's like this now, Xiao Yi is defeated, it's my turn. Princess Alice shouldn't have any opinions, right? Xiao Yang said without a smile. This guy, is he crazy? The tyrannical Lord Xiao Yi has the blessing of samsara, and he can't defeat Princess Alice. This mere human being in the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals has the courage to provoke Princess Alice. Hearing Xiao Yang's arrogant voice, all the elf powerhouses looked at each other in dismay, as if they had heard a big joke. Xiao Yang's actions like this are no different from sending him to death. Don't waste my time. And don't think that I dare not kill you because of the verbal order of the second elder Ma Lin. The holy flame is a sacred relic of the great thousand worlds, and it is nothing but a waste when it falls into your hands. Alice heard the words and temporarily regained some sanity. The most urgent task now is to compete for the position of the next clan leader of the fire elf. As for Xiao Yi, as long as she successfully seizes the throne, there will naturally be countless ways to obtain the seal of reincarnation in the future, so there is no need to worry about it. Small loses big. I won't bother Princess Alice to worry about it. Just today, I'm going to ask Princess Alice about the fire control method of the fire elves. I don't know if it's Princess Alice's fire control method, or my holy flame is better. As Xiao Yang spoke, a strong scorching aura spread from all over his body. Although his voice was flat, it contained an invisible pressure in this case. The third battle began. The southern tribe and the western tribe are the last people. If you lose, you will lose your qualifications for this competition. Seeing this, the second elder Ma Lin smiled lightly, his originally closed eyes suddenly opened, staring at the two in the field, while the sleeves were waving, countless storms appeared around the barrier, and the barrier was stabilized. Second elder, will this be superfluous? The first reincarnation stage and the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortals, the battle between the two is not at all interesting to watch. In my opinion, the speed of this battle will be unprecedentedly fast. Who knows, maybe second elder Ma Lin is overthinking it. This human looks super weak, why can he obtain holy flame? In the center of the altar, muttering voices sounded, obviously no one looked down on Xiao Yang, after all, the gap between the two was really too big. That is a reincarnation stage, not a reincarnation stage. Among the elves, the 8-star fighting immortal is consummate, the 8-star fighting immortal is consummate touching reincarnation, the reincarnation rank, and the first reincarnation rank, which have troubled countless geniuses, and the 4 levels are also the most difficult to cross. It seems weak, it seems only a word difference, but its power and strength are vastly different, like a gap that is insurmountable. At the center of the spirit altar barrier, Xiao Yang and Alice were opposed to each other, and they did not act rashly. Sami, Albert, who do you think will win this battle? Looking at the two who were arguing with each other in the arena, Princess Chen Qin smiled and joked. Princess, stop joking. There's nothing unexpected about this battle. When the female elf Sami heard the words, she was stunned for a moment, then shook her head, and a wry smile appeared on her cheeks. As Princess Qianqin's personal maid, she not only has the strength to achieve reincarnation, but is also responsible for the princess's daily affairs. Now that they have lost the lottery, they can directly compete for the position of the next elf king in the final round. With the strength of 3 people to deal with the last person, the odds of winning are very high. However, Sami naturally didn't want to fight with Alice of the Western tribe. Unfortunately, according to the current fighting strength of the Southern tribe, they were unable to defeat the Western tribe, which caused a lot of obstacles for them. After all, Alice's divine might was somewhat terrifying. Albert, what do you think? Qianqin didn't refute, she just shook her head. It's hard to say, this human named Xiao Yang always has some strange auras on his body, and to what extent the holy flame in his body is controlled, I'm not sure. Xiao Yang stood above the void, the soles of his feet suddenly stomped, amber flames swept out, the space under his feet became distorted, countless amber flames formed a majestic and vast ocean, and in the ocean, the amber flames violently rolled, even the void can burn, and that kind of aura makes people shudder. Pretty good holy flame. But today, this princess will let you know what reincarnation is. As soon as Alice's voice fell, brown flames rose up on her delicate body, and a reincarnation pressure was suppressed like a mountain. Immediately, Qiongji volleyed towards Xiao Yang's position. Boom! Qiong pointed out that the void around his body seemed to be crushed by an inexplicable force, the space was slightly distorted, and a cyan beam of light condensed out. The cyan beam of light not only carried brown flames, but even a butterfly shadow pattern. Mysterious, in which the power is even more violent. Humph! Seeing this, Xiao Yang nodded slightly, his expression became more and more cold, the amber rock soul fire revolved out of his body, and the majestic sea of flames roared violently under his feet. Immortal golden body. With a light call, a golden giant appeared on Xiao Yang's body, and a heavy aura was revealed on the golden giant's body. Just after it appeared, it was directed at Alice under Xiao Yang's control. The cyan beams of light are intertwined. Boom! 2 terrifying attacks touched, and the sound of a shocking explosion sounded, and 2 completely different energies swept away, causing the space to hum. It seems that your amber flame is indeed extraordinary. Seeing that her attack was actually devoured by the golden giant and the amber flame, without causing any energy ripples, and after it was completely annihilated, the contempt in Alice's eyes finally disappeared. Although this was his own random blow, Xiao Yang was able to resolve it so easily, this guy. Wood spirit. After a while, with Alice's intelligence, under the current situation, naturally, Xiao Yang would not feel that Xiao Yang was an ordinary man, and immediately without hesitation, the blue butterfly shadow elf summoned out, quietly dormant behind his body, forming a round of beauty. The beautiful star map, the power is unshakable. A cyan halo rose into the sky, and an astonishingly vast aura swept the entire world. The power of the formation, the Vulcan imprisoned the sky. Give me a bundle. Hearing Alice's terrifying tricks, Xiao Yang's eyes flashed with a rare heaviness and madness. Crash! As soon as the voice fell, the core inscription spiritual movement that had been silent for a long time in Xiao Yang's body suddenly became agitated, and circles of pure white formations centered on the vast sea of fire under his feet, completely spread out. Everyone saw Xiao Yang's body shaking. In the thin body, there was a shocking white energy overflowing. The white energy just overflowed, and suddenly carrying extremely mysterious energy, it ravaged the entire enchantment. It seemed that the entire enchantment was happening. With a special change. This is. Looking at this scene, second elder Ma Lin, Xiao Yi, and the others couldn't sit still. Battle formation master. That's the power of the pattern. After the rest, Xiao Yi finally determined the power that Xiao Yang displayed at this time. This guy has a lot of tricks. However, Alice is a first-level tier. If you want to deal with him, I am afraid that at least 100,000 formation patterns are needed. The current number of formation patterns is still a long way off. Princess Qianqin nodded and lowered her eyebrows, then shook her head. What kind of power is this? The wood spirit butterfly shadow energy behind Alice became more and more intense. When he was about to launch a fatal blow, he found that all the energy in this enchantment suddenly lost all contact with himself, his eyes were raised, and he exclaimed. At this moment, in the entire holy altar barrier, the huge space was covered and invaded by a touch of amber flames. It's kind of daring, but it's really scary. 94,000, it's still a little bit short. Xiao Yi looked at the tens of thousands of huge troops behind her, and immediately shook her head, then closed her eyes, carefully mobilizing the power at Nigong-WN, urging the formation of the formation. 100,000 paths can only deal with the ordinary reincarnation level. If it is to deal with the first level, I am afraid it will take about 150,000 paths. However, at this time, Xiao Yan has a holy flame, and the purpose of the battle array is in order to temporarily imprison Alice, by time for her own brewing attack. Although Alice's strength is terrifying, but Xiao Yang's body is fully armed with the powers of Sheng Yang, Fenju, and Dragon God transformation, I am afraid that the former can only be dimmed, but due to the unknown identity of Princess Qianqin, Xiao Yang does not want to be exposed by all means, hence the move. The entire formation was completely shrouded by Xiao Yang's formation power. Alice frowned and looked, and could vaguely see Xiao Yang standing on the vast and boundless river of flames, beside him, thousands of people with bodies. The energy figures flickering with amber flames quietly crawled behind him, and they were quietly guarding Xiao Yang like guards. At the same time, a monstrous chilling aura swept across the thousands of flame figures, the sky and the earth became pale in the entire formation, and the situation changed. Behind Xiao Yang, an illusory giant creature slowly protruded. 100,000 array pattern blessing. The spirit of the formation, come out. Just as Alice's cheeks were beating violently and she was pale in shock, a roaring voice that broke the sky swept out from the sky, and the terrifying fluctuations contained in it turned out to be stirring the hearts of everyone. An air of melancholy fear crept into their hearts. 100,000. Hearing these roaring voices, Alice raised her head with difficulty, and looked at the sky with a face full of astonishment. She saw an incomparably mysterious formation stone appearing in Xiao Yang's palm, and the number of formation patterns engraved on it fluctuated. You can clearly discover that it has truly reached the terrifying 100,000 Dao with a casual glance. At this time, Xiao Yang's mental power was violently tumbling in his body, and his pupils were covered with countless bloodshots, but after a while, he swept away other distracting thoughts, and a look of joy emerged, and a towering flame figure slowly poked out behind him. Above the vast sea of fire, the fighting spirit is surging, and a huge dragon that can't see the end is entrenched. Although that kind of power is not the power of reincarnation, but it is enough to compare with the power of reincarnation. The spirit of fighting intent condensed from the 100,000 array patterns is so terrifying. Some of the weaker people outside the field looked up, and when their eyes swept across the dragon, they were lightly looked at with contempt by the dragon, and chills appeared in their bodies, and even the warm blood on their bodies changed. It was icy cold, and there were faint signs of solidification. Dragon of the spirit formation, kill. Sensing that Alice's whole body was wriggling with the power of reincarnation, Xiao Yang waved his hand, and the sound of the dragon's roar resounded in the sky. Divine power is unrivaled. Boom. The seemingly terrifying attack was inextricably linked for a while. How could it be possible? Even if this is a formation that has been injected with 100,000 formation patterns, it's simply a fantasy to use this to deal with the first-tier Alice. How did this human do it? Looking at the stalemate in the field for a while, someone wondered. 150,000 array patterns are enough to defeat Alice. If you want to achieve a stalemate, at least 130,000 array patterns are required, but it is unexpected that the power of the holy flame on Xiao Yang is actually so powerful. In one step, the power of the holy flame fully compensated for tens of thousands of formations. It's not hard to see that the fire of holy flame has an irresistible suppression on Alice, otherwise Xiao Yang would not be able to resist Alice so smoothly. It seems that this guy's holy flame ranks not low. However, I'm afraid this situation won't last long. Once Princess Alice is brought back to her senses, the gap in strength will definitely not be so easy to make up for. The sound of analysis came out one after another. Second brother, don't do anything. At this moment, Xiao Yi could only helplessly sit on the stone seat and pray quietly for Xiao Yang, but he did not realize that there was a strange power emanating from the statue of Yarou Ji beside him, gently infiltrating into his body. Damn, don't make a fool of yourself. Wood spirit, the brilliance of the butterfly shadow. Feeling the terrifying suppression fluctuations on the formation dragon in front of her, Alice shouted angrily, and the violent cyan energy slanted on the formation dragon's body like a downpour. Butterfly shadow wood spirit roared smartly, like an indestructible mountain blocking it in front of it. Terrifying cyan energy raged out, and the entire void was restless. The formation dragon seemed to be provoked, raised its arrogant head and screamed in the sky, but no matter how terrifying the attack was on its body, there was no sign of retreating. It roared out of the dragon's mouth and roared at Alice in one fell swoop. There's still a little time left, so let's let you taste the real power of the holy flame burning dew. After Xiao Yang finished speaking, he quietly closed his eyes, and the Fenju deep within his body unfolded, a rare wave of fluctuations, like a who has stepped over 9 stars, descended here. What exactly is this guy doing? No, we can't go on like this. Alice smelled a long-lost heart palpitation from this human man, and immediately did not dare to hold any more hands. The butterfly shadows around her body surged, entwined with the formation dragon, and above her body, layers of brown flames and cyan energy are intertwined with each other, and the body lifts up at the same time, and an unprecedented ethereal halo emerges. Are you ready to use big means? All right. Holy flame, Fen Tianhai. Xiao Yang's complexion became gloomy, and his roar sounded as if it contained a terrifying power that shocked the soul. Just as it swept out, it was immediately frightening. Boom. As soon as the voice fell, all the energies in the entire formation seemed to have received some kind of call and gathered together in front of Xiao Yang. At the same time, hundreds of amber rivers appeared. This amber flame river is completely different from the vast ocean that Xiao Yang just cast out. If the vast ocean just displayed by Xiao Yang was a baby, now the amber river is a volcano about to erupt. This guy. At this moment, the second elder Ma Lin couldn't sit still. His voice contained an unprecedented look of joy. His slender palm clapped on the stone seat. The entire stone seat was turned into powder without any recruitment. Second elder, who are you? Everyone was surprised. Second elder, the matter you ordered me to investigate is clear. Xiao Yang, the descendant of the Xiao family, is now the owner of the Endless Fire Territory. The Endless Fire Territory is actually composed of the 4 continents of the Do-Di in the human world. The Holy Sea branch above the Do-Di continent was expelled by him, and the entire continent was completely unified by him. Behind the Endless Fire Territory, it is suspected that there is the Lord of the Soul Eater of the Ghost World, the support of the Demon Emperor of the Demon World, and the other forces are unknown. Just as everyone looked at the second elder Ma Lin, a shrewd-looking elf man tore out from the void, whispered in the latter's ear, and respectfully faced the two in front of him with a voice that only the latter could hear. Said the elder. The Demon Emperor. No wonder. Okay, the battle continues. A guy who can practice this kind of exercise if you can't even pass this test, I'm afraid it will only tarnish the prestige of the Holy King in vain. Second elder Ma Lin's voice changed indefinitely, and seemed to be happy, but it was also mixed with a rare anger. Boom. Princess Alice, if you can take my blow, keep your mouth shut. Xiao Yang stepped on the amber-colored holy flame river, and the fire dragon, the spirit of the formation behind him, roared endlessly, and the endless killing intent spread out, with a crazy look on the corner of his mouth. Humph. If you can resist my attack, the western tribe will withdraw. Hua Lingjing, Wanmu brown sauce. The sound of Jiao drinking fell, and the energy in the entire enchantment suddenly trembled. Almost instantly, the space of the formation created by Xiao Yang showed signs of shattering. A blue sword shadow appeared quietly on Alice's jade hand, and her body seemed moving like a ghost. With a monstrous momentum, he came to kill Xiao Yang's vital point. At the same time, the amber sacred flame river instantly boiled, like a volcano that had been silent for thousands of years, sloping down with endless anger. The amber river flows down, like a whole sky curtain descending on the world, swallowing and annihilating all the life in the world. This battle is monstrous and humbling. Alice's slender hand held a cyan sword, and her footsteps were like lotuses in the void. She was graceful but contained a powerful spirit that shocked the soul. One after another fierce attack was drawn out from the palm of her hand, and countless waves were rippling. The terrifying energy fluctuations knocked Xiao Yang back step by step. The cyan sword body is covered with countless ancient patterns, and even the butterfly shadowwood spirits are looming, adding countless light auras to it. Hey! Suddenly, Alice's eyes closed, and the cyan sword was raised above her head. The next moment, a bright cyan sword mark with a size of thousands of meters swept out like a dawn born before dawn, and appeared on the edge of the amber holy flame river, making the entire enchantment tremble. Buzz! This sword alone slashed the terrifying power contained in the entire Shenyang River with a buzzing sound. Although the color of the Shenyang River was bleak, the power contained in it did not diminish in the slightest. The spirit of the formation descended from the sky with the power of falling meteorites, killing Alice directly. Looking at this appearance, it seems to be a battle of the two with a lose-lose attitude. The blue-colored sword mark is like a sword of death, which is pointed out in the air, with terrifying power. The sword shadow beam is constantly expanding in Xiao Yang's pupils, but in the end, it has not broken through the flaming river in front of Xiao Yang. Ling roared, and two majestic flames were swallowed up, and they were instantly entangled with it. Boom! The seemingly tyrannical blue sword shadow, but under the action of two strong forces, made a strange sound of cracking and breaking. How can it be? What kind of power is this? A rock-like heavy aura, the restraint of the ghostly spirit of the soul, and a mysterious power that is immortal and immortal? The sword shadow did not fall, but when it was about to disappear, a rare panic appeared on Alice's beautiful face. It seems that his strongest blow was swallowed up by the flaming river when he was about to shatter it, and then disintegrated by Xiao Yang's strange flaming river. What kind of terrifying flame is this? Ended. A cry of regret fell from the sky, and all of a sudden, everyone saw a thin black figure standing on the river of flames of amber color, a terrifying dragon unparalleled in the world, with the terrifying power of destroying the sky and destroying the earth, emerging. The amber flame river turned into countless flame shackles, and the speed was extremely fast, without giving the latter a chance to react, and one after another bound to Alice's delicate body, and under the pressure of this terrifying holy flame, Alice first at one time. I felt that the power of reincarnation in my body actually failed, and I was indifferent to how I mobilized it. The current self is no different from a weak woman who is powerless. Ho. Xiao Yang showed no signs of pity and cherishing the jade. The giant dragon circling between, turned into a fiery red energy beam, and roared away at Alice who was temporarily bound. Crack. With a sound, Alice's delicate body was like a broken flower and a willow. She was violently retreated by Xiao Yang's attack for several thousand meters, and even hit the edge of the altar's enchantment. Violent energy ripples emerged. There was a touch of astonishment from beginning to end. The fire of the holy flame on this human is too powerful, so powerful that it can narrow or even ignore the gap between the strengths of the two, and because she is the king of the fire elves, her internal strength is related to the flame, so she is naturally killed by it. Restraint. Princess Alice. At this moment, the audience was silent, and no one knew what was going on. All they could see was that Princess Alice elegantly swung a sword that destroyed the world, but it disappeared in Xiao Yang's flaming river. Then Alice was defeated so easily. As tyrannical as Princess Alice, the first-level reincarnation level strength, how could it be so easily defeated by a human whose strength is only in the middle stage of the 8-star fighting immortal? This is too far-fetched, isn't it? Second Elder, I suspect that this human being used despicable methods. Please order him to be killed. Seeing Alice's ugly appearance, some of the elven powerhouses who supported Alice glared at them, and the dazzling power all over their bodies was tumbling, and they were actually ready to directly kill Xiao Yang with a tough stance. Humph. My second brother can't be compared to the younger generation like you. The competition is fair and fair, everyone can see it. Is it possible that you want to disobey the rules set by the goddess Yaoji from generation to generation? When Xiao Yi heard this, she stood up suddenly, and a purple flame burst out from the reincarnation mark between her eyebrows, shaking everyone's hearts. Alice stood helplessly on the edge of the altar, and a blank flashed across her mind for a short time. Lost. I lost myself. Are you still fighting? Xiao Yang asked each other in a distant voice. Xiao Yang's situation at this time is not optimistic. After all, he used the power of formation pattern and holy flame to defeat Alice by luck. Otherwise, there will definitely be a fierce battle between the two. I lost. Alice shook her head weakly, her beautiful eyes kept staring at Xiao Yang, as if she was unwilling, as if the competitive spirit in her heart also became quiet under the strange holy flame around Xiao Yang. At this point, there is no need to continue. Judging from the fight just now, Alice knew that even if she was fighting, she didn't have much chance of winning. Princess. Countless vassal powerhouses heard the words and shouted loudly. They invested a lot of resources and costs in Alice. Now Alice's appearance has undoubtedly made their countless days of anticipation in vain. I lost. The West tribe withdrew from this and competed for the position of the next patriarch. But I hope that after the matter is over, Aisha and the others will be returned to us, and the strong people of the Western tribe will be under the command of young Master Yi. Alice shook her head. After being defeated by Xiao Yang, she didn't feel ashamed and angry like an ordinary human being. The noble princess's cultivation made her act very different from other humans. Princess Alice is so daring. When Xiao Yang heard this, he couldn't help but complimented him. This kind of aura is not something that everyone can possess. I still have a question. I wonder if young Master Xiao Yang can solve the puzzle? In Alice's beautiful eyes, there was always a hint of doubt that was why her own power of reincarnation was defeated by Xiao Yang. Princess, may I ask? Xiao Yang replied. What kind of holy flame is your flame, And why is it different from the many flames on the holy flame list? Even the strongest sword that can resist me. Alice stared at Xiao Yan closely. This was the question she most wanted to know. How is it possible? I didn't lose wrongly. Xiao Yang's whole body exuded an energy barrier that could not be detected by external forces. After blinking, a strong relief appeared in Alice's eyes, and she smiled casually. The blessings of the Holy Flame River and the power of the array pattern, coupled with the fact that Holy Flame's restraint on Alice is extremely obvious, so there are some tricks involved, but in the final analysis, Xiao Yang won this time. The 3 Western tribes have all lost, and the next is the competition between the 3 Eastern tribes and the last one from the Southern tribe. People with discerning eyes had some regrets in their eyes, but after Shurenshi, they also set their sights on the 3 people in the East and Xiao Yang. Is it a coincidence or another hidden reason that Princess Lizzie, the great lover of winning the championship, was defeated by a weak human being? But the next scene, I am afraid it will become more lively. This video will end here.